Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Terrorists killed 9 soldiers in overnight gun battle in Gudumbali area of Borno State. Several other soldiers declared missing. Northern governors adopt federal government's National Livestock Transformation Plan, orders member states to implement entire roadmap. International Committee of the Red Cross declares 22,000 Nigerians missing in a decade of conflict in the northeast. And British Prime Minister Boris Johnson denies lying to the Queen over advice he gave her on Parliament suspension. For more information on our top stories and others, do visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of all our shows. There's been a major pronouncement by the Federal High Court on the Edo State Assembly face-off with the National Assembly. Today, the court sitting in Port Harcourt upheld Governor Godwin Obaseki's proclamation to the State Assembly for its inauguration. The presiding judge, Justice J.K. Omotosho, ruled that a governor does not have the power to issue a second proclamation after one has been made. The judge insisted that the governor does not take directives from the National Assembly, adding that the proclamation issued by the governor remains valid. He further ruled that the National Assembly lacks the jurisdiction to take over the Edo State House of Assembly, as doing so will amount to infringing on the rights of the governor. The Edo State Assembly lawmakers have been in a legal battle with the National Assembly over an order issued by the federal lawmakers asking Governor Obaseki to issue another proclamation to institute the state's assembly. To aviation now, and the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says henceforth every airport will have its maintenance program to ensure the safety of passengers. The minister, who spoke on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily, is optimistic that the Enugu airport will be reopened before Christmas. Mr. Sirika explains that the national carrier is still on course and the implementation process will commence very soon.
Every airport will have its maintenance program. Every runway will have its maintenance program. It's the facility management, and then there's certain things in place now that will be able to do those maintenance as at when due. And if it needs total resurfacing or total reconstruction or total redesign, we'll do all of that at certain preset times, either by usage or by calendar month. And whatever we would do as government to ensure that people, the hardship is eased by those traveling to Enugu, we will.
When will it be open?
If everything is equal and if we get all of the funding immediately, we intend to open it before Christmas. The carrier is on course. The outline business case has been brought in by the consultants and is being looked at, and then implementation will begin soon. We would advertise and then invite people to come and partner in a PPP to produce this airline, and I believe we'll get it right this time around.
Now let's get a bit more from our Abuja studios. Here's Linda Akigbe. Linda.
Hello, Ijoma. Good to see you and welcome to Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari says he has no intention of inflicting additional hardship on Nigerians and is promising to eliminate corruption in the oil and gas sector. The president was speaking to a delegation from the Trade Union Congress led by the national president, Mr. Quadri Olaleye. The president also responded to a request by the group not to increase the price of fuel, while promising to sustain the momentum in his second tenure and lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. Our correspondent Gloria Omezuke reports.
Members of the Trade Union Congress chant solidarity songs as they meet with the President Muhammadu Buhari in his office. The delegation, led by the newly elected national president, Mr. Quadri Olaleye, presented various requests of national interest to the president.
Given the position of the government representative in the committee set up to negotiate the consequential adjustments arising from the minimum wage, the organized labor has been considerate by lowering its initial demands in increasing the salaries of officers from grade 7 to 17. We express the hope that the issue of consequential adjustment will be negotiated openly and in the spirit of collective bargaining.
President Muhammadu Buhari immediately expressed no desire to make Nigerians continuously suffer in spite of the challenges.
I want to assure you all that the federal government remains committed to paying the new minimum wage. On the fuel prices, I agree with you on the need to eliminate corruption and inefficiencies in the sector. I want to assure you that as an administration, we have no intention of inflicting any additional hardship on Nigerians.
He received a gift presentation from the group. The president moved to the council chamber where he received the national, zonal, state and FCT women leaders of the All Progressives Congress.
The former women's leader is now in the cabinet.
It's a solidarity visit by the women where President Muhammadu Buhari explains why he prefers women to oversee the economic and financial hub of the country to ensure more inclusiveness. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
To politics, the national vice chairman of the People's Democratic Party in the Southwest, Mr. Eddie Olafeso, has been speaking on the verdicts of the Election Petition Tribunal, which affirmed President Muhammadu Buhari's victory as president. Mr. Olafeso says the party is disappointed at the outcome of the tribunal, insisting that justice was not done. He explains that in view of the plethora of evidences laid before the tribunal, the zone has resolved to join the party at the national level to appeal the judgment at the Supreme Court. He was speaking at the end of a stakeholders meeting of the party from all the 6 Southwest states.
In view of the plethora of evidences laid before it, he resolved to support the party to appeal against same at the Supreme Court. Due attention is accorded to the verdict of both the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court on Osun State governorship elections. Particularly, it resolved to subject the electoral desires and expression of the people of that state to technicality of a judge missing just a day sitting at the tribunal level.
We were disappointed about the judgment of the presidential election petition tribunal. But we have to appeal to our people. They should remain calm. There are still an avenue, to take the case further up. And we do hope that at the Supreme Court, they can have a second look at the case.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Adams Oshomole, believes that even if the opposition party, the PDP, goes to the World Court, if that is permissible by law, the party is ready to meet them there. The APC national chairman wants Nigerians to resist Western prescriptions, which, according to him, is the lot of the opposition party capable of ruining the country. He explains that President Buhari is ready to meet the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar at the Supreme Court and further defeat him there.
We as a party, we are confident. If it is within the Nigerian law for PDP to go even to the World Court, we will meet them there. The Supreme Court is Supreme Court of Nigeria. It's not Supreme Court of PDP or of APC. And even they are governed by law. And their business is to interpret or reinterpret the evidence that was before the Court of Appeal. Now, this has been resolved. And it is time to queue behind the winner and move on. After all, our winner is the best example that losing one election does not tantamount to the end of your political life. He lost 3, and today he's president. So, but when I see the arrogance with which they pronounce, and they bring what I call television lawyers, who pronounce with some managerial finality as if they were judges, even before, without any evidence before them. Let me now say authoritatively, we are ready to meet them. President Buhari is ready to meet defeated Atiku Abubakar at the Supreme Court, and the All Progressive Congress is ready to meet PDP at the Appeal Court, and Adamsu Shomole is ready to meet my brother Secondus at the Appeal Court. And he will take second, and I will take first.
The casualty figure from the outbreak of yellow fever in Bauchi State has risen to 7, and the state government says it has commenced the aerial spraying of Aedes mosquito, the vector that transmits the disease, in addition to massive vaccination campaign to control the spread. The state governor, Mr. Bala Mohammed, says over 30 million naira is being expended to contain the disease in 20 local government areas of the state. He was speaking at the launch of the spraying exercise aimed at mitigating the spread of the disease.
More than 500,000 people from 9 months and above are expected to be vaccinated in the 7-day campaign. The vaccination campaign will allow us to stop this virus from spreading and ensure that all people at high risk remain safe. We encourage all eligible persons in the 2 local government areas affected to come forward and get vaccinated. I want to plead with the entire citizens of both states to key into this vaccination exercise. They should also not panic unnecessarily or spread negative rumors that will undermine the vaccination drive.
When the news at 10 returns, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson denies lying to the Queen over the advice he gave her on Parliament suspension. That's an international scene with Around the World in 5. Please stay with us.